here to talk to you today about why you can't find God. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of atheists, agnostics, people like that, that claim that they out here trying to find God, but with the evidence that they have, they can't conclude that he exists. That makes some sense on the surface, okay? That makes some sense on the surface. But some people have been doing it for years and years and still ain't able to find the evidence, okay? Now today I'm gonna tell you why that is for a lot of people and what's going on in that situation, okay? So check this out. I'm gonna tell you a story. A friend of mine's son used to wrestle, okay? And I used to watch the wrestling coach when he would do the workouts. And I would see this wrestling coach, right? This wrestling coach, he was about 5'6", maybe 5'7", about 150, okay? Maybe 160, that's about it. This guy was lean, okay? Cut up, okay? He was in his 30s or so, but he looked like he could still compete collegiately if he wanted to. Put on a singlet and all of that, okay? And I would watch him do the moves with the kids, and I would watch him take kids that's bigger than me and put the moves on them and get the advantage of them to show them what to do. You know, you seen them coaches that can still do the workouts just as good as the athletes if they wanted to. He was one of them guys. So I got to watch him, okay? I got to watching him and I got to thinking, I wonder what would happen if I got in the ring with him, got in the wrestling with him, okay? So to give you a little bit of background, okay? I know how to fight, okay? I can fight pretty well. I grew up wrestling a lot, okay? Not competitively, just in the neighborhood and whatnot. So I know a little bit. As far as fists, I'm a lot better at that. But, you know, wrestling, I'm decent at it. You know, 230 pounds. Athletic 230 pounds. I'm moving 230 pounds. You know, so I know that's hard to deal with as far as combat and stuff like that, right? I have a significant size advantage over him. So I was curious as to if I got in the ring with him, what would happen, right? So I came up to him, I kind of challenged, I said, hey man, what if we got in the ring together? You know, what if we got in the ring together, get the wrestling, you know? Let's see what happens. You know what that guy said to me? He said, how much money you willing to put up? And once he said that, I knew I ain't want no parts of it, okay? Once he said that, see, there's levels to this thing, okay? There's levels to this thing. To some ordinary guy on the street or whatever, they want to wrestle me, I can hold my own. But to somebody that competes and specializes in that, I ain't on that level, okay? As far as just wrestling, I ain't on that level. So he told me, when he said how much money you want to put up, that showed me right there he wasn't there to play with, okay? See, I thought that if I was wrestling, I could play with him a little bit. We could play, you know, see what's up and all of that. But if he telling me I gotta put money up, see, it ain't about the amount of money because he asked me how much money you gonna put up. So it ain't about what I can afford or whatnot. You know, whether it's $5, whether it's $500, it don't matter. He said how much money you gonna put up. Okay, so check this out. Once it's a situation where I gotta put up money, it got a little too serious for my pay grade, so to speak. Okay. Because check this out, I was just playing with it. I just had ideas I was messing around in my mind, but he wasn't there to play, okay? He wasn't there to play, okay? Some of y'all are making the same mistake concerning the things of God, okay? Some of y'all think that y'all are doing something because you're able to disprove weak intellectually weak Christians that can't defend their faith very well. Okay, it's pretty easy to push them around. It's pretty easy to push people around that don't really think about their faith, don't evaluate it, don't have intellectual sparring sessions with nobody. It's pretty easy to push them around. They hardly even think about their faith, okay? But check this out. In regards to God, there's levels to this thing, okay? There's levels to this thing. Just because you can push them around don't mean you can push around a high-powered intellectual concerning the faith. Or God himself, if you were to challenge him, okay? So check this out. I'm gonna tell you what this is like. It'd be like if I went around telling people that, hey, I challenged this guy and he didn't wrestle. That means he ain't a good wrestler, right? That'd be foolish, wouldn't it? Some of y'all doing the same thing in regards to God, okay? Some of y'all doing the very same thing. Check this out, I'm gonna prove to you what I'm saying on the back end by showing you an example of an honest skeptic, okay? There's nothing wrong with being a logical person that's skeptical of things sometimes. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? God knows how people's minds are, okay? So check this out. Thomas, okay? He said he wasn't gonna believe in Jesus, okay? He wasn't gonna believe in Jesus resurrected until he put his fingers in his hand and touched the piercings. What did Jesus do to him? He allowed him to put the fingers in the piercings to prove he was who he said he was. Then he said to him, better those that believe without seeing. Okay, better are those that believe without seeing. Okay, check this out. In order to please God, what does Romans say? You cannot please God without faith. See, a lot of people that's agnostic and atheists and whatnot, they're not faithful with the evidence that they've been given. Okay, you know that there's some evidence for God that's better than others. Okay, you know that there's some arguments that's pretty weak and some arguments that's decently strong. But what are you doing with the strong arguments for the existence of God? Are you just brushing it aside? Okay, are you just putting it over? Okay, if you are, okay, then you're an example of somebody that's not being faithful with the evidence that you have. Okay, so check this out. God is essentially saying to you, you ain't even putting your money up. You ain't serious. You ain't putting your money up. What are you willing? Check this out. Because once Thomas got that sign, he spent the rest of his life pushing the gospel all the way to being killed for it. He pushed the gospel all the way to ending. Okay, that's how much he pushed the gospel. A lot of people don't know that part. Okay, a lot of people don't know that part. Okay, so check this out. Christianity is almost like a military. Okay, Christianity is almost like a military. Many are called, few are chosen. A lot of people are recruited for the military. A lot of people don't pass the physical to get in. That's a double meaning. A lot of people don't pass the physical to get in. A lot of people can't get past the physical to get into the faith. A lot of people can't pass the physical in order to get into the military. You got to be able to pass the physical. You got to show that you're faithful enough to be able to pass the physical, and then he'll show you those things. There have been atheists and agnostics that have spent the hours trying to disprove the existence of God for real. And what did God do? He showed himself to them people, and they got converted. Why? Because they was willing to put their money up. God can see the difference between the heart of somebody that's willing to put their money up and the ones that isn't. And if you're a person that like to play around and like to push around people with weak intellectual arguments, but in your own heart and hearts, you're not willing to do nothing with the evidence if God gave it to you, then the most merciful thing that God can do is let you think that you're right. That's the most merciful thing he can do. Because check this out. If you were given the evidence that you wanted and you got converted into Christianity, then every time God would be telling you something, he had to do all this stuff just to get you on board, and you're not even a faithful servant. Then you'd be putting yourself in a position of judgment because you're not being a faithful servant after being converted to Christianity. A lot of y'all are moving the goalposts. If somebody came up to me and they said they wanted to race me, okay, but every time we got to line up, they start moving the goal, they start moving the starting point, start moving the finish line, start racing me in warm-ups and say, I got past you, see, I won, and I'm just trying to warm up. I wouldn't even race them no more because I know they ain't serious. But if they was serious, they told me to put up money, I put up money and I race them. Or if it was boxing, okay, I would do that. But if it's a person that keep moving the goalposts, then I know they ain't serious. And what do I mean by moving the goalposts? People saying statements like, well, if I hear the evidence that convinces me God is real, I believe it. Well, what is that evidence? Be specific. Thomas had something specific. I need to see the piercing in his hand, okay? But where's your specific evidence to say I need to specifically see this in order to believe God is real? A lot of y'all don't have nothing specific because you're just playing around. You ain't willing to put your money up, okay? It'd be like me calling out, it'd be like me calling out somebody like Dan Penner or Warren Buffett and saying, I don't believe you made the money that you say you made, okay? What would they do if they heard me saying something like that? They ain't gonna do nothing. They already made what they made. They already done what they need to do to prove who they are. They just let me keep talking. Why? Because they know that I ain't serious. They know that I ain't willing to do what it takes to get on that level to be able to prove them wrong. So they just let me keep talking. And some of y'all atheists is in the same situation. So if you want to find God and you want to find him for real, then you need to be willing to put your money up. You need to be willing to put your metaphorical money up in terms of the works that you're willing to do if you get the evidence that God is real, that his existence is proved to you. Just like he done with me. See, I was skeptical of God for a little while, okay? But what he did with me, check this out. See. I told God what I was willing to do if I got the evidence that he was real. And I had a very specific thing that I asked him to do. And I said, if you do this, then I know you're real and I'll do this. And he proved himself to me. He showed up to me. He showed up immediately. And he'll do the same thing for you if you're willing to have the same stance in your heart. Is you serious? My message on the day is why a lot of people can't find God.